Hello everybody, welcome back to Wolfeei Extras. Today we'll be doing kind of a pseudo event review of Block Wars Movember, but also kind of a Reddit Roundup. It's a bit of a mix of both. I've not been recording stuff like this for a little bit now, because I've been doing my Dutch era, I've been talking to my fellow people from the Netherlands on stream, so I haven't had a chance to really think about events for a bit, which has been nice, but we're back for this one. There's another announcement regarding some Pandora's Box stuff that'll be coming in a few days once the teams for that are out. Either way, shout out testers and staff, of course, from this screenshot. Let's go into the various Reddit posts and Movember-related posts and kind of give a bit of a recap and share the thoughts regarding how this event went, because I didn't do that. I didn't do an event review. So, let's go. First, something that was anticipated for this event, considering there were 60 players instead of 40, was that I was going to have a very fun time, dealing with substitutes and having multiple people sub out either the day of or literally when the event starts. That ended up only being like 1 or 2, which was actually not that bad. Obviously, I'd rather have none, but that's totally chill. So yeah, good start to the review. We didn't have as many substitutes as I thought we would need, so that's good. Great start. Next up, another thing that was very fun about this event was that the fundraising was going really well, and it was actually kind of competitive as well, which I think helps, right? It's very positive that there's some competition in the fundraising for this event. For example, my team, was having a great push early on, and then at some point I joined the Dark Team VC and told Ludwig to lock in, and then he for sure did, as chat did as well. The blue team, I think, was also doing really well. I think the orange team was one of the top ones as well, and obviously every team did their part very well in donating, which was very cool. Hell yeah, you have to see it. It was really fun to see this all come together, and I was really happy just seeing all that unfold. Before the event had even started, I think we raised almost $20,000 already, which is crazy. So, very cool. Regardless, let's move on. On the topic to an extent of donations, I guess. Some of the players also did their part. Joe had his own campaign, did his own donation as well. I saw Deme and Dima from Blue Team had done some donations. Ludwig, of course, did it as well. I think there were other players, I just don't recall if I saw the names. I'm so sorry for forgetting, but I saw some of the players do it, which is cool. In reality, a lot of these streamers are some of the more wealthy people that you are going to be seeing in events compared to the viewers, so I'm glad that they did their part. It's very, very awesome, very nice, very cool. So yeah, you'll have to see it. Now I think the next page is going to show the winners. So just a little heads up. Hey, we're gonna showcase who won this event. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. It was the blue team, which actually was pretty surprising, honestly. Of course, it was a Feinberg team. Blah blah blah. This and that. But going into this event, I think a lot of people were saying like Feinberg's team wasn't like all that, and people were thinking that this was like a nerf or whatever. Of course, they ended up having a substitute relatively last minute, which wasn't like a major buff, but it was a bit of an increase in skill overall, which might have made the difference. Even still, I think this team was just going to do pretty well. I think Dima was very heavily underrated by the audience, and they came together really nicely. I think this was a good performance all across the board, and a surprising one. It's crazy, huh? Surprise Feinberg win. People pretend like it wasn't a surprise, but it very much was. People didn't think this was going to happen. So, you'll have to see it. Anyways, now on to the more like gameplay-related portion. There were a lot of changes for this event, and one of them was the reintroduction of Sky Zone in a format that was just very much simplified to be Sky Wars. But yeah, they had a really fun map, and it was just clean. And yeah, this could potentially be reused in the future. We'll have to wait and see. And it had updated music, which is very cool. So yeah, I didn't really get to play Sky Zone that much. One of the versions of Sky Zone I played for this past event, we just kind of got crapped on, and one of the other ones I fell in the void and died first. So wasn't my fault, but it did happen. So yeah, that's a thing. But yeah, Sky Zone was pretty solid. I think this is at least reusable, of course, for if there were to be another event of this format, which I'll talk about briefly, hopefully, at the end as well. But maybe for a Brawl as well, it could be interesting to see Sky Zone in rotation if it were to be in the right state to do so. Because, of course, number one, don't even know when or if an extra Brawl is happening. Number two, for all I know, because I'm not a dev, it doesn't work in the 8-team format. It could only be a 10-team thing. I don't know. So, we'll see. Anyways, next, some people were saying, like, this might have been the best Block Wars or best event, like, of all time. I don't know of all time, but it was really good. And yeah, of course, with potential recency bias, this is a fantastic event. This was, like, a very, very, very well done event. The new format was cool, and the teams ended up being pretty balanced as well, and there were some individual pop-offs, hell yeah. And this event rivals events like Intercup and Dragon's Pit. Look, as the Block Wars organizer, I obviously don't think I should speak on that. But I do think it is very fair to say that thus far, Block Wars Movember is the best representative of a event comparatively to MCC with Undercup and PB with Dragon's Pit. I can totally see why people would say that like other events are better. That's fine. In my opinion, I think this is the best showing we've had of Block Wars thus far. And I think it is relatively comparable in terms of, like, impact, maybe? Not impact, that's probably the wrong word. In terms of experience, I think it's a relatively comparable point of view. And out of the three, it's the only one that's for charity. So that's a bonus point. Hey, I'll take it. Anyways, yeah, it was really good. And I think a lot of people agree, which is exciting. Usually the Block Wars Reddit is a little bit more divided, I think, but I'm glad to see some positive agreement coming together. Hell yeah. Post-event as well, people got creative mode. Martin built EFO, not Etho, but EFO, which I didn't recognize at the time, but makes sense. So that's very cool, of course. And yeah, let's just get very briefly into most of the games, because I don't want to get into everything, of course, but I'll at least try to briefly go over everything in terms of how things were changed. So yeah, the categories were there were game bundles people voted on instead of just individual games. A game bundle would have 3 minigames within it. The minigames were every game that was available within different categories, right? I think this is nice. It kind of removes the importance of voting to an extent. Like, it doesn't really matter that much what you vote for, but it does to an extent. Like, my team realized, oh, we are not that good at PvP, or oh, we're not that good at, I think, miscellaneous, because of the games that were in there. So we were like, okay, let's go for movement and random as late as possible, but it's not that deep, ultimately speaking. So it worked out fine, though. I think this voting was cool. And then finale, Jelly Ball. Honestly, I'm warming more and more up to Jelly Ball. I really thought this wasn't gonna be a big hit for a lot of people. I felt like people were gonna be like, this kind of is like whatever, but I feel like it's kind of awesome. It's like really, really exciting. So maybe we'll reuse it a bit more. I thought honestly it would be a rookies one trick type of finale, but it fits in the more like casual, like for fun oriented events. So hell yeah. Yeah, 30v30 bridges was solid. It was fun. It was a different experience, right? It's in the midst of having a bunch of games that are just mini games, having this one large game that doesn't actually matter. It's just kind of for fun. It's fun. It's just like a little curveball in the event, which I didn't mind. I thought it was nice. I didn't get to play it fully because I was dealing with a substitute at the time, but it was chill. I enjoyed it. So hell yeah. And yeah, the team donations, the team buffs. I actually think were really, really good. I don't think it was perfect. I think there are some games that the team buffs maybe should be adjusted in if there were to be a second time that it's played. But I actually think this was like a fantastic addition to the event, and I feel like, again, a piece of innovation that Block Wars has done here that no other event has tried, and I think it works really well. So I'm really happy with this. Curious to see if this could appear in something like an MCC Pride, if they were to bother with it, of course. Anyways, onto the games for the rest. Move came back with Parkour as its own game, Dropper as its own game, and Elytra as its own game. I thought this was nice. I mean, it's just like a classic minigame. as a higher skilled player, of course, for me, this was pretty simple, but I saw that some players were having a bit of trouble with it. I think one thing that Move proves here that is nicer than Trailblazers is that if you have a higher skilled player who finishes, they can help. And I think that's great. I think it's always cool to see people give some comms to their teammates on like how to maybe do things better, etc. Which I tried my best to do, and some of my other teammates, of course, also did with some of the teammates that were falling behind a little bit. And it's just also, I don't know. I feel like that was just a really nice little bit of detail that Move had that you kind of lack in Trailblazers, but you have it in Move. So I don't know. I thought it was cool. But it does kind of showcase like, oh yeah, this is a balancing issue where like these top players just kind of blitz through it, and the lower skilled players kind of have a bit of a harder time. So I don't think it's going to be a thing that you'll see in the main events really anytime, but I think it's cool. I think it was pretty fun. But we'll see. Beep test was solid. Yeah, no, having the gimmick was pretty funny. The speed and whatever just meant that I think I finished with 2 lives left or whatever on fully doing the challenge mode, which was about what I expected, or like 1 life left. I at least survived it, which I've never done before, but it's only because we got the buffs that it was even possible. So hell yeah. And then a race being on one lap of a previous map, I honestly thought was kind of refreshing. I think race is a format, like racing games in Minecraft events is a format that's like obviously very similar across events, and I feel like having a 1 lap rendition was kind of like chill. I also think having the speed and whatever just meant that you played the race super differently, which made it way more interesting. Kind of the opposite of having the anchor modifier in rookies last time, which I also thought made the race more interesting, but for a different reason. It made it harder. This time around, it made it way easier, and I thought it was cool. So yeah, it was really nice. And also, race was played twice, and the second time it was played, it was on a different map. So that's pretty cool. I didn't know that was even a possibility, but hell yeah. So that was cool. Into PvP, we have Splat, which was on a larger map from what I recall. It was like huge, but it played really nicely. So I don't know. It was cool. I liked it. I think Splat definitely is a party game. I don't think it should be evolved into a full game, but it was nice to kind of have Splat at the same level of game slot as everything else, of course. Same with Photon. Photon was just on the Mineshaft map that has been used quite a lot recently, of course, and it was cool. Like again, same thing. I think Photon was played twice as well. With the buffs, it made Photon like way crazier, and I really liked it. I think that again, a simple idea turns into like, whoa, this is way different. It's so cool. So yeah, I was a fan of that one for sure. Then Battle had a brand new map with 10 teams. We as a team kind of played this really stupidly, so we didn't do that well in Battle, but it was fun. I mean, Battle is not my favorite game, but I think within the context of like an event where it is for charity and like whatever, right? It was fine. I had a good time. So yeah, very simple as that. Battle 1 round, big map, new map was cool. It looked really cool. I did make a pretty big mistake by like launch padding myself onto a capture point, and then a whole team jumps me. Yeah, that was a bit of a oopsie. Then King of the Hill, I really enjoyed actually. I think King of the Hill. Maybe it's because of the environment, of course, because it is very chaotic and silly. I think King of the Hill was a very welcomed addition. I do think it's probably a party game if it were to be put into the event post Movember. We'll see, of course, but it was exciting. Hell yeah. And then Sky Zone is, like mentioned, simplified. I liked it a lot. And yeah, so I already talked about Sky Zone in this post. Next up, Miscellaneous. There was Blitz Hunt, which was 2 rounds with 5 hunters from different teams and 55 hiders from everyone else. I thought it was really refreshing to play in this format. Having the buffs and stuff meant you could get to spots that you shouldn't, which I did in one of the rounds. I got on top of a castle. I know Feinberg was like on top of a box in a corner. It was crazy. I thought it was really fun, but a Blitz Hunt's always really fun, so that's chill. Crossfire was cool. I think we played Crossfire once, maybe twice. I don't even remember if we played Crossfire more than once. But Crossfire was really fun. People were like, please, can we play this again? Which has been the case. It has been a thing people asked for ever since we brought it back. And understandably so. Crossfire is really cool, so hell yeah. Go Down, I do know, was played twice. It's like an okay game, right? Go Down, it's funny. Like, it's not a game where you're gonna be like, oh, I'm really excited to play Go Down. But it's also not a game where you're like, I really don't like this game. It's kind of just like, oh yeah, this is fine. I thought it was chill. Then there was regular Spleef and TNT Spleef. These were pretty much just the same. I don't think any of the buffs really did much here. No, not that I recall. Maybe they did. Maybe I just don't remember. I don't know. But this, to my knowledge, was relatively normal. I do know that in TNT Spleef I died tragically, and I think in Classic Spleef I might have as well. It was unfortunate gameplay from my perspective. And then Order Up But Quick was pretty nice in the sense of like you don't have to worry about delivery, but I think with depending on the team format, I just had like so much that I needed to do as the IGL, and having an extra player to manage as well is a lot. So I think we just weren't able to like lock in to this new format, but that's okay. Either way, random. There were some games exclusive Fire Feet. I want to say I won a round of Fire Feet. I think I did, yeah. So I like that. I like winning, so hell yeah. Meteor Spleef. I don't think we played Meteor Spleef. Did we play Meteor Spleef in Spleevolution? I don't think we did. Not that I remember. So I can't really give feedback on those unless we did, and I just don't remember. Maybe we did play Meteor Spleef. I don't think so. I don't think we played Spleevolution at least. Maybe we did, but I don't recall playing in either of these. So I don't think. No, I don't know. And then every other game from the other bundles. Yeah, that was a nice part of random where you just have like literally random whatever other stuff. I think Order Up ended up being played an extra time in that. I don't even remember, sorry. Probably Go Down was in one of them. And yeah, it was a lot of changes, but considering how things ended up going, I think it was worth it. So hell yeah. Then that's all for the Movember event. I just want to quickly address two other posts as well. One's whatever, and one is positive. Someone made a post about the competitive state of Block Wars, in which TLDR, they're talking about like, with Block Wars trying to be lower comp, why are people like Fine and Shane still allowed to play? Because you kind of need them sometimes. Obviously, some examples I may mention are going to be, argued against because of how things ended up turning out. But for example, the time there was a Hollow Star trio with Crimson Ruse, Josuiji Shinri, and Banzo Inhaka, those three, they were paired up with Shane and Fine, which ended up being a second place team, I'm fairly sure. Do the math, take out both of those players, they are not making top 2 ever. That is an impossible challenge, okay? So you need these players sometimes for like certain types of teams to be balanced. Because as much as people often think about like, oh, well, these players want a team together on the higher end, right? How could you make a team with this S tier and this S tier happen and then add whichever bottom frags you want? People don't often think about like, what if the bottom frags want a team together? And which S tier do you need to make that balanced? Or which S tiers or which players do you need to make that balanced, etc., right? It's something that you need to consider as well. And that happens in Block Wars a bit more often, considering it's a bit more variety forward. Not a bit more. It's much more variety forward than any other Minecraft event. And obviously a lot of the variety creators are going to want to team together. And generally speaking, a lot of them are on the lower end of the leaderboard compared to people like Fine and Shane, etc., right? So that makes sense. But yeah, to just kind of TLDR this post again, they say that why are people like Fine and Shane consistently playing in the event? Because they're so much better than everyone else. Because number one, they're my friends, and number two, they are needed sometimes to be in. So I very much appreciate that they play from time to time whenever I can fit them in. Also, Origins, as a recap, just very quickly, is not a high comp event at its priority. It's a community / smaller creator event at its priority number one, and then after that it's whoever signs up. It's just a higher comp roster, so naturally without having to force lower skill people into the roster, it is going to end up being higher comp than the main event. And then finally, obviously it's been a few months since Block Wars 17, but someone made a post kind of recapping like a lot of what Block Wars has been doing in Series 3, and also specifically Block Wars 17, and they were very nice and very positive about it, and I very much appreciate that, because I do agree that I feel like a lot of this was overlooked. Not that I obviously can or should ask for people to acknowledge changes in a positive manner, but I very much appreciate when that effort is recognized, because we did do a lot for Block Wars 17, and I feel like a lot of people kind of just brushed it off. So it was like, but yeah, the roster, of course, being so different, and then having, I think it was like a new map for pretty much every game, if not every game. I think everything but Race, if Race was even in. I don't remember. But there was like a bunch of new maps, and then throughout Series 3, of course, not only was everything recoded, but everything was updated. Block Wars 17 had the opportunity to fix some stuff. Order Up was a little bit more fixed. Some new stuff was added across the board, and I think it all in all made for a positive step forward, step in the right direction for Block Wars, and I very much appreciate this post. Thank you. I also left a comment saying that we appreciate this. But yeah, people are obsessed with nitpicking the issues when the event has so much quality and polish. I agree with everything you said. Block Wars has always been willing to take risks with the event and do new cool things, and I really respect it, and I'm excited to see what new things they come up with. Hell yeah. I mean, that's one thing that I always say. Block Wars is prime innovation event as of right now. There is no event that I think competes with Block Wars' level of innovation in 2025. You can disagree if you want to. Sure, of course, the story element that's added in MCC is very fun. I think that's one of their innovation points as of recent, but that's also something that we've seen in other events that aren't minigame formatted, of course, whether it is some of the Twitch Rivals ones, etc. So that is something to consider. I do really much appreciate them doing that as well, but I do think Block Wars right now is the most innovative Minecraft event. And to some, it may be the best, but I will not give my opinion on that. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all later. Goodbye.